So then to Rob Reiner, an amiable and intelligent filmmaker who directed such popular and critical successes as The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally and Misery. On the other hand, just to prove that you can't win them all, he also directed North. His latest effort, to be seen here next month, is The American President, in which a widowed president, Michael Douglas, fights for the right to conduct a love affair with an environmental lobbyist, Annette Bening. I discussed the film with Reiner during the summer.
What did you mean when you said that you didn't have a phone?
Oh, I just moved to Washington over the weekend, and my apartment isn't ready yet. This is my sister's apartment. Come to think of it, how did you get this number?
How did I get the number? That's a good question. I don't know, probably the FBI.
Oh, the FBI. Sure, because if you want to find someone and you're the president, that's who you'd call.
There are some serious political aspects to the film as well as the romantic comedy, because it is a film about trying to balance a real life presidency and a personal life. And in this case, it's a widowed president who falls in love with a liberal lobbyist during an election year, going into an election year, and how it affects his presidency and how does he maintain the, his approval ratings and his presidency and still have a personal life.
Yeah, your president seems to be a nice guy. Is he based on anybody in particular?
Well, he's not specifically based on anybody, although we did have access to the current White House and the current administration, which was very gracious in accommodating us in a research for preparation of the film. And, obviously, I'm a big fan of Bill Clinton. I happen to like him. I think he's the smartest president we've had. And I've taken some of the feeling and the tone of his White House and tried to inject it into the film.
Maria.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. They tell you I'm going to need the
Overall consumer spending and not just first homes. We'll have it for you in 15 minutes.
Thanks.
Mr. President, I really feel we need to
Louis,
focus
however much
on...
coffee you drink in the morning, I want you to reduce it by half.
I don't drink coffee, sir.
Hit yourself over the head with a baseball bat.
I developed the project with Robert Redford, and as it was developed, I think it took a direction that he was not comfortable with. It was much more political than I think what he imagined. He imagined more of a straightforward romantic comedy. But my intention always was to do something that took a look at a very real working presidency and what a real president would have to go through in order to have a relationship in the present day with the proliferation of media the way it is. So we parted ways, and then after that, there were only 3 people I thought that could possibly have played the part. One was Harrison Ford, and he was working, and the other 2 were Warren Beatty or Michael Douglas, and Michael Douglas was my first choice.
People want leadership, Mr. President. In the absence of genuine leadership, they'll listen to anyone who steps up to the microphone. They want leadership. They're so thirsty for it, they'll crawl through the desert toward a mirage, and when they discover there's no water, they'll drink the sand.
Louis, we have had presidents who were beloved, who couldn't find a coherent sentence with 2 hands and a flashlight. People don't drink the sand because they're thirsty. They drink the sand because they don't know the difference.
It's a good move for him, isn't it? Because he's been playing victim so often in his recent films.
For me, I had no problems with it. I knew he could do it. I mean, I knew that we were having to overcome certain baggage, recent baggage, based on the films he's done recently. But certainly, he's got a very long body of work that aren't sexual thrillers. Yeah. And I knew he could pull it off. But it was also a much more formal character than anything he's ever played before. And he had a tough time with it at first, but he pulls it off incredibly well.
Now, Annette Bening, is she a leftover from the time when you were thinking about casting Warren Beatty?
No. I mean, no, she was always a first choice of mine. I mean, she... it has to be a credible relationship. I mean, you've got, we're saying that this is a real president, and we're saying that he's falling in love for the first time in 5 years since his wife has passed away. We wanted to make it a person of substance, and that would be formidable for him.
Do you often...
Do I date a lot?
Yeah.
No, how about you?
Me? Well, lately I seem to be going out on a lot of first dates.
Well, then you're experienced at this.
Oh, yeah, you can ask me anything.
Well, how are we doing so far?
It's hard to say at this point. So far, it's just your typical first date stuff.
Damn, and I want to be different from the other guys.
The American President opens on December the 8th, but